Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the warm bosom of the Wildwood Lair. I'm with Zach from Mythos Pedals from beautiful Nashville, Tennessee, now of Hendersonville.
That's right. Don't tell anybody that.
We don't want people knowing where you were at.
That's right.
You don't want people knocking on them going, hey, dude, hey, Broseph.
Can I get a pedal?
How about some pedals? I got an idea for a pedal. How many times do you get that?
Very, very often.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about how you got started. I think I first met you when you were at Carter Vintage.
That's right. Yeah, I started building pedals, 2008. I started modding like everybody was doing because that was like the popular thing to do. And so that naturally evolved into making something for myself. I had a fuzz face. I don't know if this has ever happened to you. If you have an old fuzz face, sometimes they turn into a radio.
Right.
So that happened.
Yeah.
And I opened it and thought, well, this isn't that complicated. I can make that. So I made a copy and slowly but surely, I made a few more things and then someone wanted one. And so I made two and then I made three. And by 2010, I said, I should really put a name to this. And that's where Mythos kind of came around. But I didn't really start taking it seriously until around 2015, 2016, at the advice of my wife. And then I met guys like Joey Landreth and Rob Chapman, who I had given some stuff to and, started to pick up steam. And I really saw it as something more than just like the thing I did once every couple months.
Yes, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't want to be that guy that's strapped to his desk in the basement, slaving over these things night and day.
This huffing soldering iron fumes.
Oh my God, I got to keep up with the orders. Holy caramba. Because that poor Tim, he's...
Oh, yeah.
Bless him. He's working like a dog. Works his day job and then is strapped to his device at night.
Yeah,
that sounded weird there. But I think you know what I meant.
I absolutely do. But we met at Carter. I can't remember what year it was. It was probably... Because I think I started there around 2015.
Oh, okay.
And that's probably about the time, either then or 2016, you came in. And the pedals were starting to pick up a little steam because I was selling them there and in a few other small shops. And eventually I got into Anderton's in the UK.
Yeah.
But by late 2017, I thought, I can't divide my focus because it was a lot of work to like work a full-time job and do this. And so I said, I'm just going to, really give this a try. And so I quit my job and focused on doing this like 100% of the time.
Well, you shouldn't say you quit your job. You just transitioned.
Well, yeah.
You transitioned employment activities to a self-employment empire. I like it.
Yeah, so I have to pay that self-employment tax and understand all that, which is...
You need to get working on that SEP, self-employment pension.
Yeah. But, yeah, it's just been a fun ride just up and uphill. It's not seemed to stop, which,
Yes. Well, the stuff's fantastic. Now, tell us a little bit about how, it's just kind of the Grecian formulas.
Right. Okay, so Mythos, originally I was going to call it mythological.
Yes.
And I had a buddy who was actually a history major in college, and he said, you should call it Mythos, which, like we were talking about before, I don't know how to properly pronounce that. I think the Greek way would be like Mythos or something. But it was all tied into the fact that I grew up in a little town called Sparta.
Oh, there you go.
So, it didn't dawn on me until much later that Sparta was actually a kind of a cool name, you know, and there's a lot of cool history with that. After 300 came out, I was like, oh, this is kind of neat.
Right.
We didn't have any pits or anything, but but yeah, in some respects, it's been kind of hard because I've named things that no one can pronounce, and some people can't even say the brand name, but that's okay. So, but I like mythology and ancient weapons and things.
Well, how about the life-size Parthenon in Nashville?
Yeah, that's a big part of it too.
Every time I come there, I got to go there because it's just awesome.
It's cool until you get up close and you see all the bird wire to keep all the pigeons from like roosting in the top
from doing their business. Yeah.
But yeah, it's I don't know, just a connection to me in my childhood was the Greek thing.
I can dig it
in a weird way, a roundabout way.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Historicity is good.
That's right.
So, what did you first start off with? What was your first creature?
The very first pedal was the Mjolnir.
Okay.
Which
is hard to say.
I picked a hard name right out of the gate. So it has evolved over the years, and there's a couple different versions now. Here's the one that I'm making for Wildwood guitars. But that was the first one, and after that, I made like a normal tube screamer and like a blues breaker clone. Nothing all that interesting, and they've kind of evolved and either gone away or changed into something else. But that's where I got my start, and I really didn't feel like I was doing something interesting until I made the Golden Fleece, which is that little yellow fuzz box.
Fuzz of Doom.
Yeah, because it's a different circuit. It's not really. It's based off this kind of weird pedal called the Fuzzy Nuts.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Security.
A guy named Alan Yee from Nashville made one for Nels Klein, and I have a buddy that just happened to have one, and his was really cool, but he was nervous he was going to break it, so I made him a copy, and I said, this is actually kind of cool. Can I make this? He's like, yeah, sure, I don't care.
And that was that.
Yeah, because Alan Yee, I can't find him. Like, I don't know. I've not been able to find out any other pedals he's made or like where he's gone, but it's evolved since then into something a little different. But yeah, after that, I was kind of off to the races.
I got it.
Yeah.
Well, should we go through a couple of these little morsels and see?
Sure.
Just so you know, folks, we are going through a Tone King Imperial Mach 2 amplifier. We're in the clean channel, and I think we're on like 3-ish.
Yeah, and it's not attenuated much.
It's not. And so we just got a nice little clean little tone going on.
So, you want to start with the Golden Fleece?
Sure, let's do that. There we go.
That's the secret.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's just a volume knob. So I always say it lives in your guitar. You know, just like a fuzz face or, it's just go.
And that's what I think a lot of folks, or maybe they're hip to it now and the intergoogles. But that's the coolest thing about fuzz is that you just leave them on the whole time. Turn it down and nice, meaty, clean sound with a little bit of filth, and you turn up that volume in the guitar and
Gets a little sparkly.
Yes.
But yeah, it's a super fun circuit, and it's got germanium diodes, but it doesn't have germanium transistors, so it sounds the same, regardless of the temperature.
Yeah, because there's a whole bunch of mythology with all that stuff.
Well,
right? No pun intended.
Yeah, I mean it's with germanium transistors. If they get
funky,
cold or hot, they do change how they sound. It's pretty weird.
Interesting.
So
your way of doing it is impervious to these fluctuations.
It's mainly just it's mainly like a really loud boost, but then you're clipping the wave with some diodes, and that's making the fuzz. So it's not cascading transistors like a fuzz face. It's different.
I got you.
Yeah.
I dig it. It sounds magnificent.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too, is like you never know how these things are going to sound through whatever amp, and this sounds magnifico from the get.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. I dig it.
Let's see. What do you want to go? What do you want next? We were playing
ZZ Top pedal. It's
okay.
Pretty awesome.
So so this is the Chupacabra. This pedal took me a while to kind of dial in because my favorite guitarist is Billy Gibbons.
Yeah.
My favorite tones are off like the first 5 records.
Right.
And most people, like we were talking earlier, think about the Eliminator sound and how that totally changed ZZ's sound.
Remember when I first heard that record, I was terribly disappointed. Later on, I'd warm up to it.
Right.
But as a ZZ Top fanatic, when that record came out and I was in high school, I was like, what?
Right.
Where's that greasy tone?
No, he never has totally come clean about what he was using in the studio, but this is my approximation of it. So with the gain down, it's just kind of like a tweed thing, and as you crank it up, it starts to kind of fuzz out and almost do like the, Princeton with dying bad caps.
You're right.
Sort of thing.
Right.
So, yeah.
No. Filthy.
It's pretty good.
That's awesome. If we may be so bold to say that is awesome.
I'm proud of it. It's a circuit that I don't feel like anyone's ever. People have tried to do the Ex Pandora.
Right.
Kind of thing, and like those other,
I have one of those damn things.
Yeah,
hockey puck.
Yeah, which he purportedly used, on stage. Apparently, I don't know. But to me,
that used like 3 of them.
Yeah,
or
they're all
whatever.
on a rack.
Yeah.
But it has the feel of like a push tweed amp. It responds, dynamically, but it has that sort of really snarly top end that is on those records.
Well, especially, and another tone that's wrong but right is that live tone from Flandango, or Fandango. Yeah. I like to say flan, because flan is delicious.
Yeah, a little serving
right?
of flan, yeah.
But when they're doing Thunderbird and all that kind of stuff, and go into that medley, and it's just something the amp's ready to explode.
Right. Yeah.
And then they released on the reissue of, was it Tres Hombres, where they had the live stuff that actually sounds good?
Yeah.
Where they're doing.
I go down bootleg rabbit holes on YouTube because you can find all these great like 70s recordings of them.
Yes.
It's pretty phenomenal.
Yes, a piggish tone.
Let's try the Argo next. So the Argo is kind of my clone. It's modified, but it's a clone of the Prescription Electronics Clean Octave blend.
Okay.
Which is like a Octavia, but it has a clean blend. And it's way louder than an Octavia. Some Octavias don't have a lot of output.
Right.
And so this thing you can really hit an amp hard, but the octave thing is really neat because if you turn the fuzz all the way down, it's just octave up. And as you bring the fuzz in, you can blend the clean mix with it to really kind of let it sit underneath or be omnipresent.
Got it.
So we'll do everything at noon.
All right. That's wicked.
Yes.
It's meaty too, because a lot of times the Octavias can sound like, dental office time. You know what I mean?
Well, it shelves all the low end.
Yes.
And this having that clean blend and the boost, it kind of keeps all the fatness. So
the girth, if you will.
That's right. Let's go to the Argonaut next. So this is like the little brother to the Argo. So this is just octave up. And my whole thought, Josh Smith.
Yep.
He asked me to make something like this, and I was already kind of fooling with it. And he wanted something he could pair with the fuzzes and overdrives he already has.
Right.
And so that's what this is. By itself, it's kind of weird.
Okay.
But when you stack it with something that's got some heat on it,
some heat?
It sounds right.
I got you.
So here's just the octave up.
I like it.
It's almost got like a ring mod sort of.
I like it.
So if we put a fuzz before it, you kind of get the octave fuzz.
Yes.
If we put an overdrive or something like that after it,
sounds what? Yeah, it sounds like a steel drum from hell. Demons playing steel drums.
It's perfect. But the whole idea was just like, if you want something weird, you get that. It doesn't have a knob on it. It's just go.
Yep.
And you put it on your board, and you can make that.
Off to the races. It's fantastical.
So next, let's do the Mjolnir.
Okay.
So this was, like I said, the first circuit, and this is a revised circuit. So it's based on the classic silver, other mythological pedal that everyone knows. But this one is made just for Wildwood, and it's my attempt to recreate that in a more one-to-one fashion. I have another one that's it's in this format. It's top mount. It's gold, and that one's tweaked. It's not as like on the nose as this one's trying to be. It's a little. It's for the people that don't like that circuit. You can kind of try that. But this one, because you have one of these.
I do indeed.
So with the gain knob turned down, and how this circuit works, with the gain knobs down, there's a clean pot. It's a dual gain pot. So the clean is up, and as you turn the gain up, the clean's blended out, and so it does this like cross thing.
Got it.
But when it's gains all the way down, it's pretty neutral. So you play a little.
I like
Gives
that.
you a little more.
Yeah. Sounds awesome.
So it just doesn't get in your way. It just kind of gives you more of what you already have. And I usually run it with the volume pushed a little bit, just a little bit of gain.
Okay. Sounds good.
Just to fatten things up.
Yeah.
But that pedal with Wildwood has done incredibly well, and I'm really proud of it, and people really like it.
Yeah, I tell you what, sounds fantastic.
And then we can do the Vipera next.
Yes.
Then maybe we'll monkey with the delay a little bit.
Okay.
But the Vipera was a pedal that John behind the camera.
John Brando!
Asked me to collaborate with him in the shop on. And so this is essentially two similar but not miles apart overdrives that you can channel switch between. So you turn the pedal on, you can go from A to B, but you can't put them together. So the idea is if you have your amp that you dig,
right?
It's kind of like your amp and how you have the stacked gain stages. You have your amp and that's your sound. This just adds on top of it, and you can have two different varietals.
Tastes.
Yes. So the left side, side A, is more akin to an 808, but it's got MOSFET clipping, so it's really dynamic and responsive. And side B is a little clearer, higher headroom, and a little more focused tone. But like I said, they're not, mild. Yeah. So here's everything kind of at noon on side A. And side B.
Yeah,
so it's not quite as cloudy in the mid-range.
Yeah.
But that's the basic idea, and what I tell people is you can have one set to be just like a clean boost or a little kick in the pants, so to speak, and the other to be like a solo thing or whatever. So you can have one to be a rhythm sound or a lead sound or two different rhythm sounds. It's just a fun thing to throw on a like just any rig that you need a little flexibility. And John was telling me that people have been digging it for like fly dates and stuff.
Yeah.
And you don't know what you'll have. You have that.
Right. You use that and bada bing, bada boom.
But that's the gist of that. And then the delay is something I've been working on for a while, and it's kind of a marriage between a deluxe memory man and an Echoplex.
Got you.
So. So it has tone controls for the repeat, so you can have a real bright, crispy sound. Real dark. thing. But one of the cool things about it is it has a preamp. So with the preamp turned down, it's quiet, but you can. So that's kind of the Echoplex idea.
Yeah, I got you.
Give a little preamp.
Little goose.
And it has modulation. And lastly, of course, it has a tap tempo, but it has subdivisions, so you can do quarter note, eighth note, dotted eight, triple, and then combinations thereof. So I won't go through all of them, but you can do.
Oh!
So look, just hit that once. That's quarter with dotted eight, so da 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 da. It's got. And you can do this.
I like that.
And that's the delay, and that's coming. I've got a few kinks I got to iron out. But
that's the irk the neighbors switch.
Oh yeah, that button will drive
Turn it down!
everyone out. But that's the general overview of what we're doing right now.
Fantastic stuff. I dig it.
Yeah.
So it's you and your wife making these doggone things?
That's it. It's Morgan helps doing the circuit board population. Some of the things I'm starting to have some fab houses here in the States help me with just the boards.
Sure.
But I'm putting them all in the boxes and soldering everything up and, testing all of them just myself, and it's a labor of love.
Bless your heart.
It's a lot of work.
I would imagine so.
Yeah.